All right, let's get into the last unit of Kapitel 3, Kapitel 3.5, simple past of regular verbs and haben. So we're getting a little bit of past tense going here. First, let's go over the exercise from the end of the last unit. So these are N nouns, and they look plural, but because of the noun with its ending. But you got to look at the article to let you know what's really happening. So, ich liebe den Affen. So this ending makes it look plural because it's der Affe, right? And the N is like, oh, that looks like a plural ending. But if you see den and you know that this is the direct object, then it has to be just singular. I love the monkey. Ich liebe den Affen. Okay, so see how that's singular there, not plural, not monkeys, but just monkey. Den Affen. Das war der Name des Rebellen. So this is in the nominative because it's a predicate noun. That was the name. So then what we have here is des Rebellen, and you see this really tipped you off to the fact that it is the genitive, and it's got to be either masculine or a neuter. It doesn't really matter, but it's a singular masculine, and then that en is on there because it's a n noun. So you say that was the name of the rebel. So des means of the, and then of the rebel, or that was the rebel's name. Das war der Name des Rebellen. And then Nummer 3, ich füttere den Bären. I feed the bear. I'm feeding the bear. So you see that this is the singular masculine accusative definite article. The bear as a direct object. Singular bear. If you wanted to say I'm feeding the bears in the plural, then it would be ich füttere die Bären. This would be die instead of den. That's how you can tell the difference. So, kennen Sie den Menschen dort? So, this is the same thing where it's got this en, so it looks plural, but you can tell that this is actually the accusative masculine singular. So the article is telling you that it's still just one person. Kennen Sie den Menschen dort? Do you know the person there? Ich sage dem Präsidenten, dass ich nicht zustimme. Hopefully you could find this verb in the dictionary. So I'm telling the president that I don't agree. Zustimmen, to agree. So we have dem Präsidenten. That's the indirect object. I'm saying to the president, or I'm telling. Yeah, so that's it's really I'm saying to the president, but telling is similar. Dem Präsidenten. So there's the ending because of the end noun. Ich habe einen Gedanken. I have a thought. Ich habe einen Gedanken. So you can see that this is the masculine accusative, and normally you wouldn't have that on the singular, it would only be the plural, but because it's not in the nominative anymore, it takes that ending anyway. Ich weiß den Namen nicht would be I don't know the name, and we're in the accusative here. I don't know the name. Yeah. Ich gehe mit dem Jungen spazieren. So I go on a walk with the boy. We haven't done the pronoun, the prepositions yet, but you should still be able to recognize that dem is a dative, right? So this is dem, which is dative, and then we're going to add that extra n. Normally it's der Junge, but it's going to be mit dem Jungen, and the extra n there. And it is still singular, the boy, not the boys. Okay, so Kapitel 3.5, simple past and regular verbs, of regular verbs and haben. So let's do haben first. The simple past is one of the two past tense constructions that we're going to do. So the simple past is basically the one word past, and then the other past tense that's very commonly used is called the perfect, the present perfect, or it's the difference between like I ate versus I have eaten, but the meanings aren't quite the same as English. So we're going to do the simple past first, and then we'll do the other type of past tense later. So we have, for example, hattest du Spaß in Berlin, which would be, did you have fun in Berlin? Or hattest du would be like, had you, right? We do this kind of construction in English, but it's just hattest, du hattest, had you, you had, du hattest. So that's the simple past. Ja, ich hatte viel Spaß. Yes, I had a lot of fun. Ich hatte, I had. Ich hatte viel Zeit, einen ganzen Monat. I had a lot of time, a whole month. Ich hatte viel Zeit. So we'll look at the conjugations for haben in the simple past. Ich hatte, I had. Du hattest. Er, sie, es hatte. Wir hatten. Ihr hattet. Sie hatten. And sie hatten. So, of course, you remember your present tense, which would be ich habe, du hast, er, sie, es hat, wir haben, ihr habt, sie haben, sie haben. That's present tense, right? But now we're doing past tense, which is ich hatte, du hattest. So it's quite a different thing. And it's irregular, so it just has to be memorized. So we're going to do sein as well, because haben and sein, they go together. They're both irregular. It's important to just get it out of the way. Also, it looks quite like English. Ich war is I was, so it's only one letter off. I was, ich war. Du warst, er, sie, es war. Wir waren, ihr wart. Sie waren, sie waren. So you see the ich and the er, sie, es, they don't have any endings. It's like a naked ending. But then the others get endings. It has this base form of var, and then the du gets the st ending you might expect. That's actually the same as present tense. And they get these endings that you already know from the present tense, just in this case, but the other ones have different endings. So, but just for sein, it's just best to memorize it because it's irregular. Ich war, I was. So now let's look at some more of these. So haben we just did. Ich hatte, du hattest, er, sie, es hatte. Wir hatten, ihr hattet, sie hatten. So it's irregular. But then this one is totally regular. Is that when it says weak verbs, it means regular. Weak means regular. It's like a rule follower. So it's weak-willed. It just follows the rules. And then irregular is strong. Like they are called strong verbs because they're strong-willed. They don't follow the rules. So spielen is irregular, as in weak. So that means that you get the stem, and then you by taking off the en, and then you have spiel, right? And then these endings, you memorize these endings, and then you can use those on any regular verb to make the simple past. So it's ich spielte, du spieltest, er, sie, es spielte, wir spielten, ihr spieltet, sie spielten. So yeah, the TE is characteristic of the simple past here. And then, so they all get the TE, and then sometimes also these other endings. Antworten is only slightly irregular, just like in the present tense. If you're going to add a T, you add another E to separate these T's, right? So, ich antwortete, du antwortetest, er, sie, es antwortete, wir antworteten, ihr antwortetet, und sie antworteten. I know it sounds totally weird. It sounds like that can't be right, but it is. Ich antworte, like you can look at ich antworte, that's normal. But then you have to say the other two. Ich antwortete, antwortete. And then you'd say antworte, or it would be like antwortet, and then est. Du antwortetest. So this one is like really quite strange. But you would, usually in the simple past, you're only using the S form anyway. But yeah, you just have to look, the stem is with the T, it already ends in the T, the stem, so. And then you add the E, and then another set of T's, yeah. So weak verbs are verbs whose stem vowels do not change in the past tense, means they're regular, they don't have any weird changes going on. Like English verbs that take an ED ending in the simple past. To play, played. To answer, answered. So that ED ending is, etymologically related to this TE right here. And then strong verbs, as in irregular verbs, experience stem vowel changes to the past tense. Sing, sang, and it is actually singen, sang. It would be ich sang, I sang. So we will see some more examples of those in another unit once we get past these regular ones. So The characteristic ending of the past tense of German weak verbs, such as spielen, is the te. So, and then we have, if the stem ends in a d or a t, enden, antworten, like we had just now, or the consonant clusters, öffnen, regnen, then, of course, you add another e and then the ending. So it's similar to what we were doing in the present tense. If the stem ends in one of these things, then where it makes it hard to pronounce the suffix, then you just add an e to separate the suffix from the rest of it. So, spielt in the present. Spielte in the past. Wir öffnen in the present. Wir öffneten in the simple past. You add the te there. Ihr antwortet in the present. Ihr antwortetet. Yeah. Hat, hatte. Ich habe, ich hatte. That's the irregular. Yeah. So, and then of course, the meanings are a little different from in English. So you can have different ways to translate the simple past depending on the context, just as we have been doing in the present tense. So, spielte die Rolle von Galilei. He played the role. Spielte, he played. So he played or was playing are both fine, depending on all the other sentences around it. One can sound better than the other. Spielte die Rolle gut? Did he play? Of course, in a question we do did, and then the other verb. Yeah. So either played or was playing. So let's look at another regular verb. This is like spielen, reisen. It's going to be regular. Ich reiste. So we take off the en. We've got our stem, which is reis, and then we add our endings. Ich reiste, which means I traveled. I traveled. Ich reiste. Du reistest. You traveled. Sie, es reiste. He, she, it traveled. Wir reisten. We traveled. Ihr reistet. You traveled. Sie reisten. Sie reisten. Yeah. Lernen is regular, and it's always regular, and of course in the simple past it's also regular. So, ich lernte, I studied or I learned. Ich lernte. Du lerntest, you learned or you studied, with an ed at the end in English. Sie, es lernte. Wir lernten. Ihr lerntet. Sie lernten. Sie lernten. Let's try spielen. We had before, but we can review it to get it into our heads a little better. Ich spielte. Du spieltest. Sie, es spielte. Wir spielten. Ihr spieltet. Sie spielten. Sie spielten. Yeah. Okay. So just like in the present tense, you'll see that it makes a difference between whether you say sie spielte, that would be she played, versus sie spielten would be they played. And these would be, you really have to have this from context because it's a lowercase. This pronoun she and they looks exactly the same, but the conjugations are different. So that's how you can tell. And then with the U formal, then of course you've got a capital S. So that differentiates it from the they. But in speech, you can't hear the capital letter. So in speech, these two just have to be from context. Okay. Arbeiten, it's slightly irregular because it has that T ending on the stem. So this is going to be one of those ridiculous sounding ones. But ich arbeitete. Du arbeitetest. Sie, es arbeitete. Wir arbeiteten. Ihr arbeitetet. Sie arbeiteten. Sie arbeiteten. Yeah. So that's just how it is. So it's work. I worked, you worked, he, she, it worked, we worked, etc. Yeah. Reden means to talk. So it's slightly irregular. We've got the D ending on the stem. Ich redete. Du redetest. Sie, es redete. Wir redeten. Ihr redetet. Sie redeten. Sie redeten. Yeah. It doesn't sound quite as weird because we've got a D here instead of a T. Yeah. But I talked, you talked, he, she, it talked. Haben, we're going to do this one again. It just has to be memorized. Ich hatte, du hattest. Er, sie, es hatte, wir hatten, ihr hattet, sie hatten, sie hatten. I had, you had. Okay, and we'll do sein again. Ich war, I was. Ich war, du warst, er, sie, es war, wir waren, ihr wart, sie waren, sie waren. Okay, so you just have to memorize these and get used to them, and then memorize the endings on the regular ones so that you can apply them to other regular verbs. So the next few slides, you'll have the exercise, you'll have some exercise with the simple past that we were just talking about, and then also the end of chapter exercises for Kapitel 3, the longer text for you to translate, and then please do those, and then after that, you can move on to the lecture videos for Kapitel 4 and work through the exercises there, and then of course we'll have our next meeting on Zoom at 2:45. You'll see an email from me. And then viel Glück und bis dann. Here are the tips for dictionary using in your homework. And then here we have the exercise where the left side is present tense and the right side is simple past. So you can just translate the sentences in the present and then also the ones in the simple past and compare those endings and really note why you know why you're recognizing that the simple past is happening. Yeah. So, and then here's another one. Translate these sentences, paying attention to the verb tense, and that will get you more familiar with the simple past verbs. And then we've got all of these in the end of the chapter. And just get through as many as you can. If it's too much and you're overwhelmed, just try to do at least this first exercise, and then if you can, move on to these other exercises as well to translate these texts. So, vielen Dank und auf Wiedersehen. Wir sehen uns im nächsten Kapitel, Kapitel 4. Tschüss, auf Wiedersehen.